Good morning, friends. It's Pastor Patricia from Holy Cross, and this is the sermon for All Saints' Day. And at Holy Cross, we have commemorated the great cloud of witnesses for several years now, and it's up in the sanctuary, and we'll have a special come and go devotional service today, Sunday, November 1st, from noon to 1:30. The idea is you come in, put a memento of a loved one and the ofrenda for the Dia de los Muertos, light a candle if you choose in remembrance of someone who has died, and then come into the sanctuary to pray silently and listen to great music. Then leave so someone else can come in to pray, since we're social distancing and we'll only let 10 in the sanctuary at a time. And so today is a day to think about those who have died and also to think about their legacy. And the gospel reading for today fits in with that pretty well. There's a recording of that. Pause me and go back and listen to that if you like. What we're reading is Matthew's Gospel, the 5th chapter, beginning with verse 1. Matthew takes this idea of remembering a legacy a little bit further for me. It's Matthew's first big sermon for Jesus. The Beatitudes. Blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are those who mourn, for they will be comforted. The list goes on, and you and I are pretty familiar with it. Don't forget to check out that recording that I made. But so here's the scene in Matthew. Things are just getting going in Jesus' ministry. Matthew begins the book with Jesus' genealogy, proceeds to the story of Jesus' birth and the wise men, and then all of a sudden we're talking about the John the Baptist account. And then adult Jesus calls the disciples, and boom, here we are at the Beatitudes. This moment is about the movement Jesus is leading, and it's just getting started. There's been some healing, some speaking, and all of a sudden a huge crowd is following him. And he retreats a bit by going up the mountain, and then he gathers the disciples, sits down, and tells them this: Blessed are the meek, for they will inherit the earth. This is a moment for Jesus with those closest to him. To me, this is in fact Jesus' inaugural address. He's just getting going. It's a new administration. And he takes the time to talk to his disciples about what's important before hitting his stride. And as you notice, this address is filled with the verb blessed. It's an active inaugural address. Blessed are those who hunger and thirst for righteousness, for they will be filled. Blessed are the merciful, for they will receive mercy. You know, it's a time in our country where an inaugural address is on our minds. We're about to elect a president, an important moment that has the opportunity to draw us together as people who care. Many people are praying for the way forward for our country. And I think it's a good time to look at inaugural addresses of the past. So let's start with Thomas Jefferson. In his inaugural, said this: But every difference of opinion is not a difference of principle. We are called by different names, brethren of the same principles. We are all Republicans. We are all Federalists. And then Abraham Lincoln's inaugural seems pretty important, as we as a country have buried more than 220,000 people from COVID-19. This is what he says: I am loath to close. We are not enemies, but friends. We must not be enemies. Though passion may have strained, it must not break our bonds of affection. The mystic cords of memory stretching from every battlefield and patriot grave to every living heart and hearthstone all over this broad land will yet swell the chorus of the Union, when again touched, as surely they will be, by the better angels of our nature. Wow. Theodore Roosevelt, in his inaugural, shortly after being shot, said this: "Never before have men tried so vast and formidable an experiment as that of administering the affairs of a continent under the forms of a democratic republic. Upon the success of our experiment much depends, not only as regards our own welfare, but as regards the welfare of mankind. It is a momentous time in our country, and we're living through it. And so we turn to this momentous moment in Jesus' ministry when he calls together his disciples to charge them with what was most important about being one of his disciples. Blessed are the pure in heart, for they will see God. Blessed are the peacemakers, for they will be called children of God. So, my friends, pray and remember our dead today. And just as important, know that you are the children of God, blessed to be a blessing. Go and change the world. Amen.